All right, everybody. Giorgio, the Dr. Petrosyan, has officially retired. He had his last fight, which we can see right here, just the other day. I could only find a few short clips. It's very hard to tell sort of what went down, how good his opponent was. But we can see somewhere here he lands a really nice knockdown with his knee. I think that's coming up in a moment. Keep your eye out right there. Beautiful. Maybe it was the hand, maybe it was the knee. But today we're going to go back and watch one of his impressive fights where he won $1 million grand prize within ONE FC and just paid tribute to this champion who was just so amazing. And I was very lucky to have fought in Italy numerous times with Bellator, and even luckier to have Petrosyan on the fight cards with me. I think one time I fought for a title against Kevin Ross, and he was fighting Chingiz Alazov, and then another time we shared a card together. What a champion. And let me tell you, as we watch him, why to me he is the kickboxing GOAT, because many people will have arguments surrounding that. There's one other person that I could see being in that conversation, and that is Tension, who retired undefeated in the kickboxing world, beat Rod Tang, beat Takaru, just never lost. And it's hard to argue that somebody who's never lost and fought everybody is not the greatest of all time, because everybody in kickboxing loses. But if we're not talking about Tension, to me, Giorgio is the next greatest. And some people will say, well, he got knocked out. He got knocked out by Superbon, and he got knocked out in Glory once. But guys, we are talking about 2 fights and over 100. Now, if we don't just look at those facts, we look at how many rounds did he lose. That is the next thing which I would say, okay, let's see how many rounds in his career he lost within K1, ONE FC, Bellator. It was so rare to see him give up even one single round. And that, to me, is something spectacular. It shows his complete and utter dominance over people. Now, of course, being knocked out a couple times makes it a little difficult to justify that for some, but to me still I go, he was so dominant in pretty much every minute of each round. And the fact that he took out people like Andy Sauer, Albert Kraus, these K1 champions, Artur Kashenko, and just made them look not spectacular, which they were, it just shows how good he was. So let's dive into this fight and let's just admire some of his work. Nice stiff jab from him there. He's one of the guys who has such good defense and such good subtle footwork. So let's watch his feet moving. See, he's always stepping. He's stepping to the outside right now, away from Sana's power hand. And this guy, Sana, he was annihilating people. He knocked out Yotzinklai, took out Jabbar Askarov to get to this final. So he was beating dangerous guys and very, very powerful. Little off balance there for Petrosyan. Just stumbled to the floor. Nice counter. Always watch Petrosyan. When his opponent throws the cross, he fades off to his left and will counter back. We also just saw a really cool move that he does, which most people might not have picked up on. He threw the low kick and then he hooked his foot around the back so the person cannot grab it and throw it to the side. If you ever want to see him really execute that well, watch him fight Andy Sauer in K1. And you'll see this amazing move that I've never seen anybody else do aside from him. Such a great way to throw a kick and then control your opponent. Round number 1, that was a close, competitive round. The thing with him, though, is the further it goes, the more data he collects, the more he adjusts, and the harder and harder he gets to figure out. He has great cardio. He's not somebody to slow down. So if you don't get him out of there very early, it's hard to make any adjustments where you can beat him. And guys, Black Friday sale is happening right now over at Strike Ready. You can grab the vault and save over $550. You will have access to my 5 training courses for your entire life. They include movement, takedown, offense, defense, and my newest Edge training program. check that out, link down below. Let's move into round number 2. You can see his body looked like it had been hit a couple times. There, it was looking a little red in the midsection. But you're not going to fight the best in the world and not get touched a few times. Just the amazing part is, let's watch this round and see how many times he actually gets a clean shot landed on him. He's already landed a low kick and an uppercut, but not been touched yet. Punches miss. Those off the guard and missed. Like, Sana has not landed a thing. And it's because his defense is so good, because he combines movement, a high guard, and head movement at the same time. When you can combine all 3 of those, it becomes very difficult to land. Sana at least a couple times got leather onto Petrosyan's head, but with no power. Just touching him. It also looks like that low kick which he throws there, off that leg, it's hard to tell, is it going to go inside low or to the back leg? And it makes it hard for Sana to check appropriately. Because if you try and check off the back leg, he'll catch the inside one. If you try and check off the inside one, he gets to your back one, well, then you did nothing. It's a little puzzle to solve. Look at this. As he backs up, he didn't take a shot, but he landed shots backing up, constantly interrupting. And while he doesn't normally knock people down while he moves backwards, he just makes it so frustrating for them. And I'm not going to lie, the first couple times I saw Petrosyan within K1, I was not a fan because he was picking apart my favorite fighters. And it's not the most exciting style, very similar to that of Mayweather, where you have to watch him for the beauty in his fight intellect, as opposed to, awesome barn burner fights. Although that was a nice combo there. Upper cross, upper cross. But he is more so like myself, where he's not worried about winning every fight by KO. He's just throwing the shots, and if a knockdown comes, it comes. But I've always figured, it doesn't matter if I win by decision or by KO. All that matters is I get the win. And I think his mindset is quite similar. He wasn't very proficient in English, so while I've been in a room with him 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, something like that, and sort of had minimal conversations, I've never really had an in-depth one, just because I don't think his English is good enough for that. Once again, he's just creating that range by a little subtle backing up, cuts off to the right. He has a dangerous knee. Oh, there we go. He stayed back a little too long there. A little bit too long with his head out of position, and he got caught with a long cross. There, you see right there, he took his leg and he hooked it around Sana's outside thigh, which is incredible. Catch some of the highlights here. Nice cross. See if he does anything really special. See, he hits the shot, he just waits, and then he gets right back into it when it's safe. But he's ready for defense. And if the defense doesn't come, then he becomes offensive again, constantly adjusting. See those little pauses. Little pause. Just waiting to see what's happening next. An impressive showing, as always, from Petrosyan. And I gotta be honest, when I watched this final, because I was obviously keeping very close track of it, it was an 8-man tournament that spanned over something like a year. I went, Sana could be a tough task for him because he's long, he hits crazy hard, and, all it takes is one big shot. But, man, Petrosyan just showing the highest level skill. He's a tough dude, however, to watch and go, I want to be like him, because you have to have such high fight intellect to do what he does. Like right in this zone here, for most people, would be very dangerous. But he makes it work. Nice jab there. Let's just watch the footwork here and see if he ever is not moving. Okay, they get to the clinch. He sort of went stable there for a moment. Moving off to the left. Throws the kick. recreates the space, closes the distance fast, recreates the distance fast, moving off to his right. Got caught with a little shot there. His little sharp inside knees are dangerous. I've seen him use those very well. Always adjusting the feet. And I talk about a lot of this in the footwork course, which we have at Strike Ready. Just learning how to get better footwork. It's so important. I always do my best job in fights when I'm thinking footwork, and it's not just me standing there exchanging bombs. Also saves you from taking a lot of head impact. You don't want that long-term damage. Sensei doesn't have, in all fairness, like the nicest technique, the nicest punches, but it's just the awkwardness of fighting somebody who's that strong and that much taller. And he showed within 1FC that he is a dangerous opponent to have. Ooh, look at that. You think he finally gets a moment where he has success, and then Petrosyan just comes right back and steals everything that he just did. Beautiful angle there. Ooh. The variety of the defense from Petrosyan. He will long guard, he will Dutch guard, he will move his head, he will catch kicks. He has a bit of everything. A master of defense for sure. A master of defense and footwork, actually. And you combine those two together and it makes for a very, very good fighter. Nice little fake there. I love how he picks his knee up like he's going to throw a front kick or something like that, and then he just comes with a punch right after. Beautiful way to just distract your opponent. Yeah, you're not allowed to do any of the catching within 1FC kickboxing rules, unfortunately. I'm going to say unfortunately because I love that aspect of kickboxing. So we're coming down to the end here. Obviously, this is a Giorgio fight. Utter domination in terms of not getting hit, taking very little damage. So, guys, Petrosyan, his career is done now, but if you're ever looking to watch one of the best ever to do it, go and watch his fights, watch some of his K1 stuff against the former champions, and you will be amazed by this guy's skill set.